Fight fiends and forecasters, we're back for Dana White's Contender Series Week 4 after back-to-back sweeps. Let's see if we can do it again here. Week 4 is one of the more difficult weeks to predict out of the 4 so far, but we're freaking ready to go with high confidence and a lot of high potential prospects this week. Let's start it off with the first fight of the night at featherweight. Tommy McMillen making the Dana White's Contender Series run here. First attempt versus David Mgoyan, who is a cousin of Arman Tsarukyan, a prodigy of Arman Tsarukyan. Mgoyan here has fought some pretty low-level competition, though. He went the distance in a fight versus a fighter that was 18-12. That was the second last fight 6 months ago. On the side of Tommy McMillen, he has 100% finish rate. 100% finish rate in round 1. He is crushing the cans as he is supposed to. David Mgoyan is not crushing the cans like he is supposed to. He has a lot of round 1 finish wins, but low-level competition. You look at the record of the fighters: 1-3, 6-3, 5-3, 18-12, 9-13. A lot of these fighters don't even have a positive record. He might be a prodigy of Arman Tsarukyan, but the level of competition is atrocious. Now we're looking at Tommy McMillen. He's training with the MMA Lab and Tim Welch, Sean O'Malley prodigy here. He strikes like Sean O'Malley, but the difference is he has a lot of background in the wrestling department. He can keep this fight on the feet, in my opinion, and he will be the better striker, more power with that 100% finish rate. If the fight goes to the ground with the wrestling, McMillen likes to get the rear naked choke, the guillotine. Most of the time it's the guillotine, but in his last performance, it was a rear naked choke. He is on a roll right now, making his first run at Dana White's Contender Series. I think it's a good one. Mgoyan is undefeated. He has the hype, is the favorite somehow in this fight, but I don't think he's going to be able to control the fight on the ground. McMillen has over 50 fights in Montana when it comes to the wrestling. It wasn't at the highest level. Now, Montana isn't the best state for wrestling either, but you got to give him credit. He has a lot of experience wrestling, over 50 fights, 50 wins. He went like 52-0, never lost a wrestling match up in Montana. So McMillen has the tools in the bag to get this win. As an underdog, plus 140, he is the pick with high confidence for me. He has a height advantage, reach advantage in this fight, and it's now or never basically too. He's 27, David Mgoyan 21. He has 6 years on Mgoyan here, and David can obviously make a run for it. A second attempt on Dana White's Contender Series. Maybe gets a short notice fight in the UFC. I think both fighters are UFC caliber. I'm going with the underdog in this one. First fight of the night. I think last week it was all favorites, so you got to expect an underdog or two starts barking this week, week 4. Let's talk about the second fight of the night. This is the second time Tuan is making a run for it on Dana White's Contender Series. The first time he didn't have to run very long. He got knocked out round 1 to Loner Kavanagh. He kind of ran into a knockout punch, and he's wild and crazy in there. A lot of his knockouts are early. He's a finisher, and that's where I can see him getting counter punched and knocked out in this fight. I think Eduardo, Henrique, 14-2 record, has too much experience inside of the octagon, too much power. He's on a roll right now. Won his last 3 fights, round 1 knockout, higher level competition, 8-2 fighter, 10-2 fighter, 8-1 fighter. And Tuan just beat a guy 3-4, not a positive record. Before that, 9-9 knockout win. His other wins are not very impressive or worth mentioning. He had a 2-1 decision win and a 4-1 decision win at the LFA. Got knocked out round 1 to Loner Kavanagh. Tuan is rightfully the underdog in this fight. He's less technical. He's just crazy going for the finish. He's going to get caught. The Brazilian is very promising at LFA, fighting the much higher level competition. We mentioned it, 8-1, 10-2, 8-2. The much higher level competition has been fought on the side of the Brazilian, the 3-1 favorite. It's a clear and obvious pick. Let's play it by knockout most likely in this fight. Looking at Topology, A lot of people think it's going to be a knockout for the Brazilian. He does have a decision win 2 years ago versus an opponent 10-5, and he has a decision loss to Davy Bittencourt, a fighter we are familiar with at the LFA 3 years ago. But since that Bittencourt fight, Eduardo Henrique has won out and won his last 4 fights. He's on a roll. Tuan off that loss has only fought one fighter on the regional scene with a negative record. He crushed the can like he was supposed to do, but I feel like he's getting caught in this fight. Now, let's not forget the Brazilian fought 1 week ago. This is a quick turnaround. He has to cut weight again. So I'm not looking to put too much bankroll or money on this fight. The line is still relatively close, but in this fight, I got to go with the guy, 29 years old. It's now or never. Just fought a week ago, absolutely lit his opponent up. He's fought and beaten the higher level competition, being active as well in his career. I think he's ready for the UFC, and he will get the contract here off a counter punch to Tuan. Let's keep it going. No reason to overcomplicate the fights. Anything can happen on a Tuesday night. Probably going to rock with the favorite in this fight, another Brazilian. Last week, all the Brazilians got it done, and this week, I believe I am picking them all to get it done again. Yeah, there's only 2 of them, Henrique and Samuel Silva. This is another Brazilian I'm picking to win. He's fighting a Canadian. The Canadian first time around on Dana White's Contender Series this season did not get the win, and I don't think this... Actually, yeah, he did. Oh, shit, I think the Canadian did win on week 2 there. I had the pick wrong. Anyways, this Canadian... Mandel, Nallo is not my pick. Although the Canadian beat George Mangos. I think that was the fight there. Now this Canadian, his nickname is Mango. That's a complete fade for me. He's a big underdog here, the Canadian. He fought a guy 8-4, 27-12, 12-13, 10-8. Pretty low-level competition to get the call to the Dana White's Contender Series. You look at the LFA fighter. He fought at LFA, had a 13-1 split decision win over a guy that was very durable and tough, tested him. His other couple wins are questionable. He had a 2-3 knockout win, a 3-1 knockout win. But the thing that sticks out the most for Samuel Silva here is his last 2 performances. He beat George Hardwick, the Cage Warriors champion, beat him by a decision. And then he went out and had a guillotine choke a year and 7 months ago at the LFA versus Anderson Fieda, 18-4. He's been impressive in his last 2 performances. It looks like he's continuing to improve. He's 29 years old, 4 years younger in this fight. He has more ceiling, more room to grow out of these 2 fighters. I got to pick him to get it done here. His loss, though, in 2023, February of 2023, he got knocked out to a fighter 11-7. It was round 1. He also was knocked out to a fighter early on in his career, 2017, and that fighter was Elves Brenner. So he's been in there with some very good competition. He's been on a roll his last couple fights as well, just like the other Brazilian Henrique. Silva has won his last 5 fights, looking to make it 6 versus Mandel Nallo. Nallo here, the Canadian fighter from Montreal, trains with Freese Zahabi. He has a very good gym to train with. He's won his last 4 fights, but the level of competition is a little questionable for me. He has won all those fights in round 1 by finish. After round 1, I think the cardio is going to start to fade, and Samuel Silva will start to take over. In round 2, possibly round 3 is where I can see Samuel Silva ending the fight, because on the side of Nallo, he has lost his 3 fights by finish. Leg kicks 2019, ground and pound 2020, and then he got choked out round 3 in 2023. So he's been finished in all of his losses as well. Samuel Silva, he's going to go for the finish here versus a fighter that is not very durable. You look at Silva, his 2 losses out of 4 are by a decision, and his 3 losses are within his first 5 fights. So 3 out of those 4 losses are when he was starting out his career, first 5 pro fights. Since then, his record is completely different. He just beat George Hardwick, a very good fighter, by unanimous decision to become the Cage Warriors champion. I gotta believe in the hype of Samuel Silva, the durability, and the cardio, because Mandel Nallo is a round one finisher. After round one, he seems to fade, and he gets finished in every single loss. Going with another favorite here, going with another Brazilian, and I think he gets it done inside the distance. Don't want to overcomplicate it. We're taking the two Brazilians inside the distance, and I could see them both landing the knockout punch, I would think. But the submission is very live for Samuel Silva. 6 knockouts, 5 submissions, 2 decision wins. He can do either or. And Mandel Nallo got submitted once in his most recent loss and knocked out in the other 2. He's never been finished in round 1. He's been finished twice in round 3, once in round 2. So round 2 and 3 is where I can see the finish being more alive for Samuel Silva, and that's where he should get his hand raised in this fight as a favorite. We're talking about the co-main featured fight here, co-main event on a 5-fight card. But we got Mikhail Oleksiejczuk's brother, Cezary Oleksiejczuk, and he is 15-3 fighting a 6-0 green fighter, Theo Haig, who fights at AKA with DC, Cain Velasquez. He has some very good people to train with. He's been training with very high-level fighters, but he's green in his career. He's fought green tomato cans, not red tomato cans that are red hot. He beat a guy 1-0, 2-2, 18-34, and 7-7 in his most recent performance 7 months ago. God damn. Those are some low-level wins. Cezary Oleksiejczuk knocked out Tom Breeze, former UFC fighter. That was 19-5 at the time, round 1. Knocked him out 6 months ago. Before that, had a 16-8 win by knockout. He's on a 3-fight win streak, all by knockout. Knocked out another high-level fighter that was 16-5. Maybe they're not that high level, but he's doing what he's supposed to do. He took a loss to a guy undefeated, 12-0, almost 2 years ago. Since then, knocked everybody out. Made the move to Fighting Nerds, which has been a great move for him, honestly, and it's only going to make his game better. He's going to continue to improve, being 25 years old. The ceiling is high for the Polish fighter with power and precision. You got to think Theo Haig is basically a punching bag in this fight. He might be training at AKA, but if you shoot a takedown and it's not a good takedown, you're going to get knocked out, especially when Cezary Oleksiejczuk knows exactly what's coming his way. It's pretty obvious the path to victory for Theo, and it's not going to work out, in my opinion. This is my most confident pick this week. Cezary Oleksiejczuk, knockout, devastating fashion. Probably one of the widest favorites on the event. People's most confident pick for sure. It's set up for the brothers to compete in the UFC together. The Polish Power is getting us paid on Tuesday night. Let's not overthink this one. Theo is not that good, and he is not ready for a fight versus a striker like Cezary Oleksiejczuk. He's getting set up here for a loss. Let's keep moving along. We got one more fight to talk about, and we don't need to overextend the prediction. And we don't need to overextend the Tuesday night. We need to see 5 finishes, just like last week. I think it's possible. We got a fight here between 2 guys, just like last week. Might not be the highest caliber prospects. When they enter the UFC, they might get tested and take a loss. That's expected. A lot of debut fighters struggle in the UFC, but these 2 in particular aren't really the highest level, in my opinion. Nice win for Jean Paul in his last fight. Had a submission win by triangle. He beat a 5-1 fighter by a decision. Before that, he had a recent loss, though, to Jacoby Jones. Got knocked out, referee stoppage on the feet. He's not going to be the more physically imposing fighter in most of his fights. He's not going to have more power, but he is a well-rounded fighter. He has a nice triangle choke. We've seen it 4 months ago, but he's fighting someone that also wants a contract, and Jack Congdon, 7-1, good record, finisher as well. Won his last 3 fights, all by finish. Had 2 submission wins and a knockout win, but he also had a loss by submission. to a guy 8-2, Jonathan Parishma, rear naked choke at Cage Titans. Not the best loss, not the highest level loss at Cage Titans. And to be fighting at Cage Titans for that long, his last 5 fights, it's not the highest level promotion. We don't normally see the Cage Titan fighters come into the Dana White Contender Series and make a statement. When we look at the other side, Jean-Paul has been in the LFA, the feeder promotion for the UFC, his last 5 fights, competing at a much higher level as a minus 260 favorite. I can't overcomplicate it, so he's the pick. Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani. He should easily get it done here in a big spot. Method of victory. It can go any which way. Since I've been calling the submission win for the fighter in the final spot on Dana White's Contender Series each and every week. The last couple weeks, I think we had Gandra submission last week. A little prop bet. I'll take Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani. So this week I'm going to keep the trend continuing. I'm going to predict Jean-Paul officially by a submission in the featured fight of the night here. He lacks a reach advantage. He lacks a height advantage. But when the fight gets to the floor, he should have the clear advantage there. On the feet, he can hold his own too. He's fought the much better competition in my opinion. But at the same time, both these guys, when they enter the UFC, I do expect them to struggle a little bit. These aren't the highest level fighters on this week's event, and they aren't the highest level fighters on the main featured fights that we've seen the last couple weeks. But this fight is bound to be a banger. We're going to tune in and find out Tuesday night. So thanks everybody for tuning in to the Fight Fiend Forecast, getting the predictions and picks this week. If you want the bets, hit the link in the description below. We got Patreon, and the link for Discord is there as well. Make sure you smash that. Discord is absolutely free. We got the forecast lobby there, open chat with all the forecasters. There's other lobbies you can check out too. See all the content that we're putting out each and every week. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, X, Telegram as well. We're on all platforms, so stay forecasted. This week is also UFC Paris, my birthday weekend. So make sure you check out the full card prediction show. We're doing the Prop Fiend show 8 p.m. Eastern time on Friday. So that's what I'm saying. You got to stay forecasted. We're going to come back ready to attack these bookies on Friday. And we're going to have a lot of props that are going to pay out. It's my birthday weekend. It's going to be a very fun week and weekend. So let's start the party now. It's Monday, Labor Day, no work today. But I'm putting out Dana White's Contender Series. And I'm starting to slay these bookies with some bets that I'm crafting up. We're also doing MLB bets. Slammed a couple bets there Friday, Saturday night. Those were some nice dingers there. Looking to slay another parlay here today on Monday. So make sure you join the Platinum Forecaster side of Patreon. If you want the decodes, numerology, astrology, picks, and bets, it's a little bit extra, but you can become a Zodiac Forecaster now with a second tier officially created. We're going to code each and every fight for UFC Paris, and we're going to take advantage of these bookies and be smart with the bets, especially on Tuesday night. Manage the bankroll wisely. Set a bankroll that is comfortable for you. And we're going to come out on the other side shining like we always do. Swept the last 2 weeks. Let's see if we can do it again. It's going to be tricky because this is a very difficult card to predict compared to the other 2 weeks. But I have high confidence we can sweep once again. Thanks everybody for tuning in and finding out what the official forecast is. I mean, it's Tuesday night. We haven't seen anything too crazy yet. Hopefully everything keeps moving along smooth here. No reason to overcomplicate some of the fights. Looking at the level of competition between the two fighters, it seems pretty obvious who's going to get the hand raised. But I'm only human. I can have picks wrong. I can miss bets. You know what I'm saying? That's why we got to manage the bankroll wisely.